Matt Murdock is all around a pretty serious crime fighter, bruiser, and lawyer. But what happens when you put the character into an alternate reality living under different circumstances? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we're here to explore the weirder sides to Matt Murdock and find out as we count down the top 10 weirdest alternate versions of Daredevil. Let's get counting. Number 10. Secret Agent Matt. What if Daredevil never became Daredevil at all, but instead Matt Murdock became an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That's the story told in this What If issue we get from Volume 1 of the series in issue 28. Here we get to see an alternate reality where Daredevil never even became Daredevil. Tony Stark happened to be the one responsible for the accident that blinded young Matt, as it was his truck filled with toxic chemicals that was driving through the city when Matt had his fateful accident. When he learned of what happened, he decided to turn over Matt to S.H.I.E.L.D., hoping that they could help him. Nick Fury saw great potential in Matt Murdock and trained him to become a secret agent for S.H.I.E.L.D. Matt goes on a mission to rescue his dad, who is kidnapped by Hydra, and in the end joins up with the S.H.I.E.L.D. team. Number 9. House of M. Although Daredevil wasn't one of the main players in the House of M storyline, an alternate reality created by Scarlet Witch, he still existed in this reality. Here Matt Murdock was still a lawyer and was even lucky enough to tangle with She-Hulk. Despite the fact that he and She-Hulk are both lawyers, they don't really team up a lot in the main continuity, nor are they a couple. But in House of M issue number 3, we learn of a rumor floating around the Jade Giantess She-Hulk that she has the hots for Matt, and that both lawyers have been seen canoodling in and around the courthouse. What a scandal. And friends, before I move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more good top 10 nerd content, you need to check out our newest channel, Top 10 Nerd Elite. Go on over there, hit that subscribe, go to a video and type a little comment and be like, hey Amanda, I'm here, I did it. Number 8. Dare the Terminator. Dare the Terminator comes to us from the Amalgam Universe and is a combined version of both Marvel's Daredevil and DC's Deathstroke the Terminator. A strange but cool fact about Dare is that she's a woman, despite the fact that both the characters that were amalgamated together to create her in this universe are male. Dare, however, also received her name from the fact that she is a fearless Daredevil who few dare to challenge. She had horns surgically grafted onto her head by enemy the Big Question, aka Enigma Fisk, and she is also missing an eye. Kinda got like, of course she's an Amalgam character, so she's got a little bit of both things going on there. Number 7. Daredevil 2099. This alternate version of Matt Murdock's character comes to us from one of the 2099 universes. Sam Fisk in the future is the heir to the Kingpin legacy, but finds himself struggling with guilt surrounding that legacy. To counterbalance all the bad his grandfather has wrought, Samuel Fisk decides to become the new Daredevil in the future, becoming our Daredevil 2099 over 2992. Kind of weird to think that in the great Marvel multiverse, there is a reality where it is Wilson Fisk's ancestor and not Matt's that becomes the new Daredevil. But this weird fact is also what makes Samuel Fisk so interesting as DD as well. Number 6. Belasco. On Earth X, there are actually a few different versions of Daredevil. Most people probably think of the actual character who appears severely depressed and to kind of crave his own death, who goes by the name Daredevil, but there are actually a few others besides. One version is also an alternate of Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner. This alternate version of the character ends up becoming Belasco, but later settles down in Hell's Kitchen, choosing to operate as a hero for a time and protecting that neighborhood. So he's literally a red devil of a demon man running around Hell's Kitchen, acting as its guardian. A pretty cool Earth 9997 visual reference or alternate to Earth 616's DD. Number 5. Exiles. The alternate Daredevil of Earth 181 is a version we see in the Exiles. Any reality where Daredevil serves the Kingpin to me is weird, which is why this version makes our cut. After serving on the Weapon X team at the behest of the Timebreakers, this version was held captive in a crystal palace, instead of being sent home as promised. However, when he did return home, we learned that Daredevil on Earth 181 is a brutalizer who works for the Kingpin and seems to genuinely enjoy violently attacking his targets. Number 4. 1602. The 1602 version of Matt Murdock is kinda weird in the sense that he became blind and received his powers from venturing into a cave and eating green, glowing goop that he found there. The whole point of this version of the story is to show how fearless of a character Matt was, but still, it's pretty weird, even given how fearless he was, that he'd ingest mysterious glowing green goo. That sounds like it could be slightly crossing the line from fearless to just plain stupid territory. Of course, sometimes those two traits do go hand in hand, so fair, I guess. Needless to say, it all worked out in the end, as that is where 1602's Matthew Murdoch, also known as Sir Devil or the Bard, got his powers from. Oh yes, instead of living in his civilian life as a lawyer, Matthew here poses as a blind balladeer, a singer, but in secret operates as an expensive adventurer for hire or a bodyguard. Number 3. Kingpin. Never mind a reality where Daredevil works for Kingpin, how about a reality where Matt Murdock never becomes Daredevil and instead becomes a deadly assassin working for the Hand, who eventually rises in their ranks and, seeking more power, works for Kingpin, eventually taking the title for himself as he builds his own crime syndicate. That is exactly what happens on Earth 65, where Matt Murdock is more criminal than anything. He started out down the path of a hero, but after Stick, who took him under his wing, was killed, he fell into the hands, or hand really, of the Hand. This set him down a dark path towards villainy as he became more and more obsessed with power. Number 2. Earth 666. On Earth 666, Daredevil is a literal devil who dares to join the other undead heroes to assemble as the Avengers of the Undead. We don't know much about this alternate version as he's only made an appearance in a few issues, but we can assume his abilities are similar to his 616 counterpart, with one of the major differences from 616 DD being that he actually appears to be a real Red Devil with giant horns coming out of his head. You can catch this alternate version of the hero in the 2010 Secret Avengers series in issues 33 to 36. Number 1. DeerDevil. He's a deer devil. DeerDevil was only briefly mentioned by Peter Porker and hails from his reality of Earth 25. What's so strange about this alternate version of Matt? You guessed it, he's a deer, hence the name DeerDevil. DeerDevil's civilian name here is actually also different from the 616 counterpart, and it is Bat Murdoch, and he made his first appearance in the Spider-Ham 25th anniversary special from June of 2010. DeerDevil was one of the heroes who Peter Porker got to know along the way as he transitioned from just being a regular young pig to the hero Spider-Ham. As Peter Porker reminisces on his past, we see DeerDevil's head among the other characters that Spider-Ham has encountered within his past. Which alternate versions of Daredevil do you think are the weirdest and why? What alternate versions of the character do you think would be super cool to see, or to see more of if you know them already? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos from our newest channel, Top 10 Nerd Elite. If you haven't subscribed yet, head on over to do so now and be sure to leave a comment so that we can respond to you in the next video. These comments are coming from our recent video, Worst Things in the Ultimate Marvel Universe. Grace Gallagher comments, yeah, probably not so suitable for the MCU. Still, I guess it was cool to get something darker, I guess? I actually feel like there's a lot of stuff that inspired the MCU from the Ultimates, although it definitely isn't as gritty or dark, so I feel you. Also, we might have some pretty bleak futures that we'll get to see into in What If, which I'm super excited about, and then that will be in the MCU, which would be cool. Yay! Dreefa Snowflake responds, I don't like what they've done to Thor and the Asgardians. Like, in Ultimates or like in general? That's my question. Dalton Garrett concedes, fine, thumbs up because you asked nicely. Well, thank you. I'll just keep asking nicely then, I guess. If you could please give us thumbs up, it really does help. It's really nice. Thank you. Also, thanks for giving us that thumbs up on that video. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment on our newest channel, Top 10 Nerd Elite, to get your queries and opinions responded to in a future video. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you, as always, to stay nerdy, YouTube.